Silence is the altar of spirit, and our devotion to God should be like a wood fire, one that burns steady for a long time, producing a bright flame as our hearts fill with joy and love. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our Sunday morning worship service, and let us rise for the singing of the opening hymn, Praise to the Lord the Almighty, and remain standing for the prayer of invocation, followed by all praying the Lord's Prayer. Please join me in an attitude of prayer. Almighty and ever-loving God, the creator of all life, we humble ourselves in thy presence as we pray the great invocation which states, from the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of man, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. By our actions, let us demonstrate the teachings of Jesus the Christ, our way shower, doing unto others as we would have them do unto us, reaching out in ways that nurture the spirit as well as the physical body, eliminating unnecessary suffering as we maintain an awareness of God in all things. Let us affirm this prayer as taught by the Master Teacher Jesus. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thank you, and please be seated. And we will now declare our principles, which is the cornerstone of our belief system, and they will be on the screen, so we will do this in unison. We believe in God as infinite intelligence.
We believe that the phenomena
of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We believe
in personal responsibility
and that we create our own happiness or unhappiness as we live in harmony or discord with natural, physical, and spiritual laws. We affirm that the personal identity of the individual continues after leaving the physical world. We affirm that communication with spirit is a normal experience and is demonstrated through mediumship. We affirm that a prophecy and healing found in the Bible and other sacred texts and attributes found in all people. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is always open to any soul, here or hereafter. Our special music preceding the meditation is titled The Circle of Light.
Safe inside clear blue sky, of another storm moving in and out of time, in and out of the circle of life. We are children of the angels, keepers of the fire. We are children of the angels, reaching for the light. We are not strangers, we are all brothers. I know we came here to love each other, here in the circle of life. Each one thinks he has the answer. Each one believes that he can see the way, the only one. But the truth lies waiting, and was always waiting, like a love, a peaceful dove, right there inside your soul. From another place and time, moving into the circle of life. We are children of the angels, keepers of the fire. We are children of the angels, reaching for the light. We are not strangers, we are all brothers. I know we came here to love each other, here in the circle of life. From another place and time, moving into the circle of life. We are children of the angels, keepers of the fire. Children of the angels, reaching for the light. We are not strangers, we all are brothers. I know we came here to love each other, here in the circle of light.
As we move in and out of the circle of life, embracing the light, we see different levels of truth, to which we aspire to go to that highest level, that we may rise above the situation that we're currently experiencing, with the realization that more frequent than not, that which we perceive to be is impossible is only impossible because that is our truth. If we can align ourselves with God's truth, that we truly are children of the angels, we can align ourselves with the fact that we are greater than we know. We have the tools within us to achieve our soul's purpose. But many times we look at the events that happen around us as being done to us, which is a false perception. Perhaps there is a lesson for us to learn, but we're not being persecuted because we are where we are on our walk in life simply because our choices and actions are working together with natural law to teach us how to be that light bearer, to extend love in the face of hardship, to see beyond the devastation of the moment. Otherwise, we will remain stuck in that pain. Our hearts become hard. We're unwilling to forgive, and therefore we become the one that needs the healing because of our own unwillingness. We cannot give to others that which we cannot receive from others. So allow yourself and make this promise to yourself today to be more open-minded, to look at the various choices that are available, to see beyond that which I have locked myself into, knowing there is a different choice if we are willing to pursue that. Give yourself this freedom and begin that new way of thinking and acting this day. Take a moment to settle yourself with that concept, and as the lights come up, feel comfortable to open your eyes. Our lecture today is titled, Our Perception is Our Reality. Our scripture is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 10 through 13. When that which is perfect is come, then that which is imperfect will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Now faith, hope, and love abide, but the greatest of these is love. Follow after love and desire spiritual gifts. May Spirit bless the reading of the scripture. Our perception is our reality, and what we perceive as truth is our truth, but not necessarily the absolute truth. Everything begins in the mind, and a false perception under the authority of a biased attitude always creates disaster. For example, one day while walking down the street, a corrupt senator was hit by a car. He died immediately. His soul arrived at the pearly gates, where he was greeted by St. Peter, who said, "It seems that we have a little problem here. We seldom have a high official around these parts, so we're not quite sure what to do with you yet." "No problem," said the senator, "just let me in." "Well, I'd like to, but I have orders from the higher-ups which I am obligated to follow. What we'll do is have you spend one day in hell and one day in heaven. Then you can choose where you desire to spend your eternity." "Really?" said the senator. "I've made up my mind. I want to live in heaven." But St. Peter says, "I'm sorry, but we do have rules," as he escorts the senator down to the elevator which goes down, down, down to hell. The doors opens, and he finds himself in the middle of a green, lush golf course. In the distance, he sees a clubhouse, and standing in front of the clubhouse are all of his friends and other politicians who he worked with over all the years that he was a senator. Everyone was dressed in their evening attire and ran out to greet him. They reminisced about the good times they had while getting rich at the expense of the people they served. They actually played a game of friendly golf, and then they went to dine on lobster, caviar, and the finest champagne that money could buy. Everyone was having a wonderful time, telling jokes and dancing, with the devil in their midst, being the most gracious host that anyone could imagine. Before the senator realized it, it is time to go, and he is off to heaven, where he joins a group of content souls, moving from cloud to cloud, playing harps and singing, just relaxing and being. Well, before the senator realizes it, the 24 hours have gone past, and St. Peter comes and asks the senator, "Have you made your choice?" And the senator replies, "Yes, I have. I would never have thought I would say this, but I actually think I would be better off in hell." The senator reflects for a minute, but then he is escorted off to the elevator by St. Peter, which takes him back down to hell. This time, when the elevator door opens, the senator finds himself in the middle of a barren land, which is covered with waste and garbage. He sees his friends, all are dressed in rags, picking up trash, putting it in large black bags, as more trash falls from above. The devil comes over and puts his arm around the senator's shoulders, as the senator stammers, "I don't understand. Yesterday I was here. There was a golf course, clubhouse, and we ate the most lavish food and drank champagne, danced, and we had a great, wonderful time. Now there's just a wasteland full of garbage, and my friends all look so miserable. What in the world happened?" Well, the devil smiled his big smile and said, "Yesterday we were campaigning. However, today, you made a decision. You voted. So this is what you voted for." When our perception is flawed, our reality is flawed, just as rigid or lacking as we perceive the world to be. In our childlike thinking, we tend to think in terms of fixing the world and everything in it, except ourselves. And that is the only place that we have authority over. And it probably needs the most work of any other place that we could conceive. However, we're blind to those facts. As a young child, we were taught to depend upon others for all of our physical needs, which teaches us to trust, hope, and love with the innocence of a child. As we make the transformation from child to adult, our reality changes as we become responsible for our own needs. Life teaches us personal responsibility and that we create our own happiness or unhappiness as we live in harmony or discord with natural, physical, and spiritual laws. None of us are perfect, Therefore, we should never hold others to a higher degree of accountability than we are willing to hold ourselves. Each of us has that innate ability to discern when we err in thought, word, or action. When we are willing to go within, face to face with our creation, then we shall know ourselves as we are known. We will be able to see the flaws in our perception and desire to have faith, hope, and love as a motive of all of our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We will be more selective in our dealing with other people. As a young woman was waiting for her flight in the boarding room of a big airport, she knew there would be a long wait, and she welcomed that because she needed some time to be quiet and to be alone. To help utilize the time, she decided to buy a book, and as she bought the book, she purchased a packet of cookies. So the woman went and sat down in an armchair in the VIP room of the airport to rest and to read in peace so she would not be bothered by the common people. A young man came in and sat down in the next seat. He opened a magazine and started reading. It was then that the woman noticed the packet of cookies on the small table between her and the man. When she took the first cookie from the pack, the man also took one. Irritated, she thought, what nerve. If I were in the mood, I would just punch him right here now. For each cookie she took, the man also took one. Boy, was she irritated, but she didn't want to cause a scene, so she said nothing. When only one cookie remained, she thought, what would this abrasive man do now? So as she watched, he reached for the last cookie, broke it in half, gave her one half before devouring the remaining half. That was just too much. She was so angry now, she took off in a huff and proceeded to the boarding area where she would be with the common people. When she took her seat inside the plane, she looked inside her purse to get her classes because she had never got to reading. So when she reached inside the purse, there she found her cookies. She felt so ashamed. She realized that she was wrong. She had forgotten that her cookies were in her purse and thought the man was eating hers. However, she realized the man had shared his cookies with her without feeling angry or bitter. In fact, he smiled as he gave her half of the last cookie, while she had been very angry, thinking that she was sharing her cookies with him. As reality set in, the young woman discovered that she now had the privacy she desired, but that only deprived her of the opportunity to explain her actions or to apologize for her bad behavior. Moments of humility are blessings in disguise, a vehicle for us to shift our perception from victim to victory. The young woman was blessed with the opportunity to come face to face with herself, realizing that she was acting like a child. She was seeing through a mirror darkly. The man to whom this woman never spoke gave her the opportunity to see what she had the potential to become. 1 Corinthians 13:10 states, when that which is perfect is come, that which is imperfect will come to an end. This experience taught the young woman something that each of us need to know. We should control our attitude instead of allowing our attitude to control us. We can do this by learning that true happiness is not always to achieve our goal, but to learn to appreciate what we have achieved. When we learn to appreciate what we have, we understand that to be rich is not to have the most, but simply to need the least. We need to learn the importance of forgiving ourselves. It is not always important that we be forgiven by others. It is futile to compare ourselves to others because there is always someone that is much better at something and someone that is far less than we are. It takes years to build trust, but it can only take a few seconds to destroy that trust. There are people who love us very much, but simply do not know how to express their feelings. We cannot make anyone love us, but we can learn to let ourselves be loved. It only takes a few seconds to hurt the people that we love, but it can take years to heal. When we learn that money can buy everything but health and happiness, we learn that what is most valuable is not what we have in life, but who we have in our lives. And while we may be entitled to be upset, that does not give us the right to upset everyone around us. True friends are sacred, and when we find one, we have found a very real treasure. For example, a group of 40-year-olds discussed where to meet for dinner. Finally, it was agreed that they would meet at the Ocean View restaurant because the waiters and waitresses were very good-looking and had such buff physical bodies. 10 years later, at age 50, the group once again discussed where to meet for dinner. Finally, they agreed to meet at the Ocean View restaurant because the food was really good and there was a great selection of wines to choose from. 10 years later, at age 60, the group once again discussed where to meet for dinner. Finally, it was agreed they would meet at the Ocean View restaurant because they could eat in peace and quiet, and the restaurant had a beautiful view of the ocean. 10 years later, at age 70, the group again once discussed where to meet for dinner. Finally, it was agreed they would meet at the Ocean View restaurant because the restaurant was wheelchair accessible. It even had an elevator if you needed it. 10 years later, at the age of 80, the group once again discussed where to meet for dinner. Finally, it was agreed they should meet at the Ocean View restaurant because they had never been there before. Each of us has the potential to be the master of our own vessel or a slave to what we plant, as we reap what we sow. When we plant gossip, we harvest suspicion. If we plant faith, hope, and love, we will harvest happiness. It is those who are honest with themselves without considering the consequences that succeed in life. They carry with them 4 things that each of us should have the knowledge of. And these 4 things cannot be recovered. First, the time after it's gone. Second, the occasion after the loss. Third, the stone after the throw. And fourth, the word after it's said. That's why we should never be embarrassed to tell others just how special they are to us and let them know when they make us feel good. Or to say thank you to anyone that we encounter that lightens our load, even if it is just a simple smile, as we move in and out of time, moving in and out of the circle of life, changing our perception until we find the truth that was always waiting like a peaceful dove inside our very own soul. We are greater than we know. And when we follow after love and desire spiritual gifts, we know that we are children of the angels. We are not strangers. We are all brothers. And we truly came here to learn to love each other as we move in and out of the circle of light, moving in and out of the circle of life. May Spirit bless you.